Tansi, everyone. Welcome to the 2021 BC Métis Federation Virtual Career Fair. My name is Greg Mazur. I'd like to acknowledge that I'm on the traditional territory of the West Bank First Nation, the Silks people. I'm Métis and I'm a director with the British Columbia Métis Federation. My ancestors include the Cloutiers, the Amiots, and Peltiers. And I've got a copy of my ancestor Francois Cloutier's deed for lot 303 in Red River back in 1821. I've been working with the Trans Mountain Pipeline Project to identify employment and procurement opportunities to increase participation by Métis people. I'm pleased to see so many Métis people and so many potential employers present here this afternoon at the Métis Virtual Career Fair. First, I'd like to invite Keith Henry, President of the British Columbia Métis Federation, with his welcome and some opening remarks. Keith?
Well, good afternoon, and thanks, Greg, and thanks to all the participants online. I will start, I guess, I want to also start by acknowledging that I am on the ancestral territory of the Squamish, Musqueam, and the Tsleil-Waututh First Nations here, and I'm joining you from Vancouver, British Columbia. And as Greg mentioned, I've been the president of the BC Métis Federation since we began. It's hard to believe it's been a decade this year, 10 years. Our official birthday will be in April. And it's, to say the least, it's been an incredible journey for us as an organization, working with our partner communities and our members across not only this project in question today, or the work we're doing around Trans Mountain expansion, many of you as employers and procurement partners, but certainly all throughout British Columbia. I think today's a great example of that and the work that we've done, and I'm excited that you're all here. You know, I was commiserating with the team before we began today, and it's to see the evolution of our organization to provide direct, more tangible benefits for our members with real employment opportunities and procurement opportunities, and using this kind of a platform is something we wouldn't have imagined, 4, 5, 6 years ago. So it's nice to see that we're creating these kind of, I guess, new ways of doing things in this time of COVID-19. Now, as most of you will know, and you've seen us over the years, we're a grassroots organization. We made a decision in 2014 through our members at that time and our partners that we wanted to benefit from the development of the Trans Mountain expansion project. And as many of us know, here we are today, basically 6, 7 years later, and we're continuing down that work. So therefore, over the last few years, we have been creating new opportunities for Métis small businesses and members to more effectively meet those objectives while supporting the environmental and emergency response needs and concerns of members and partner communities. Today, the BC Métis Federation has been steadily increasing our services that we offer for our members. It's been a trajectory of, a slow growth, but growth nonetheless. And we've been proud of the jobs we've created already and some of the procurement opportunities we've created through this last few years on the project. But today, this job fair is the result of this work yet again, and I'm proud of the team for the planning efforts. And I sincerely hope all of you that are watching online today, maybe for the first time, members, other Métis people, just trying to find opportunities. We're just trying to create those platforms for everyone. We know this project will bring significant opportunities for all of us, and that's why we're here today. So with these words, I just want to say good luck. I really look forward to listening in on the conversations today with our team and many of you watching online, and thank you to the employers and partners that are here, and thank you to Trans Mountain, of course, Expansion and Kinder Morgan for their work with us and the Government of Canada. But I want to just say I declare the BC Métis Federation Career Fair 2021 officially open. So let's have a good conversation today. Thank you.
Well, Keith, thank you very much. Today is a unique opportunity to form partnerships between potential employers and employees. Finding and entering work life on the pipeline can be a daunting process for Métis people. We face many barriers and roadblocks in our search for work and a career. We at the BC Métis Federation, along with our partners at Trans Mountain, hope to make that process easier to navigate and a process that will enable you to find long-term sustainable employment in a field of your choice. As Métis people, you need to make yourselves and your experience attractive to employers. But companies also have to make an equal effort to attract the best employees for their positions. Métis people today can ask their potential employers, what can you offer? How can I fulfill my potential within your company? And can you live up to my dreams? As well, potential employees, you've made an important choice in life just by signing up for this career fair. Together with Métis people who are currently employed with TMX, you represent real value and real potential to our partners represented here today. A prosperous future for Métis people is based on linking our people's skills and education with secured, long-term, well-paying jobs. And that's one of our objectives here today. I'm going to introduce our team now. I've been fortunate to work on this project with two associates who share my passion to increase the participation of Métis people in the TMX pipeline project. Karen Andrews from Prince George is the BCMF Employment Coordinator, and Taylor McLeod from Kamloops is the BCMF Procurement Coordinator. They will make their presentations now, and I'd like you to ask to hold your questions till after the presentations. You can use the chat feature at any time, and we will try to respond as quick as we're able. Karen, can you take it away, please?
Tansei, welcome. It's an honor to have all of you attending this unusual event. I'd like to acknowledge the unceded ancestral lands of the Lheidli, McLeod Lake Indian Band, and the Swipnik First Nations that I reside on in Prince George. My name is Karen Andrews. I'm a residential school survivor and a proud Métis descendant from Desjardins, Winnie Andes, and Cardinals. Next slide. The Trans Mountain Expansion Project, acronym TMX, is a 980-kilometer pipeline twinning Trans Mountain's existing line. Construction is divided into 7 sections, starting in Alberta with Section 1 to Vancouver at Section 7. Due to the COVID, the Christmas break, and a safety slowdown, many of the prime contractors are just getting back to work. Next slide. The BCMF, the BC Métis Federation, acronym BCMF, engages with the prime contractors for TMX on a regular basis to ensure that we are aware of their job and training opportunities. These prime contractors are: 1, Cord is responsible for pump stations along the entire route, employing carpenters, electricians, rig welders, welders helpers, iron workers, steam and pipe fitters, and scaffolders. The next 6 contracts install pipe in the ground. 2, SA Energy is currently responsible for Section 6, which is scheduled to start late this year or early next year, employing equipment operators, laborers, rock, truck, and bus drivers, welders, and welders helpers. 3, Leadcore Sikkim has Sections 3 and 4A, employing laborers, automatic welding technicians, operators for boom, dozer, and excavators. 4, Simp Leadcore is in charge of reactivation on the route and is currently seeking skilled laborers. 5, Soraris Murphy is Section 5A, employing welders, welders helpers, heavy equipment operators, laborers, truck and warehouse personnel. 6, Macro Pipelines Inc. has Section 5B, employing general and skilled laborers, heavy equipment operators, swampers, welders, and welders helpers. 7, Kiewit Leadcore is in charge of West Ridge Terminal in Section 7, employing skilled laborers, pipe laborers, drillers, operators, carpenters, nozzle people, sweeper truck operators, and night shift laborers for erosion sediment control. They get a lot of rain in Vancouver, I hear. Contractors 8, 9, and 10 are camps. Atco Frontic, Lancy, and Civio, employing chefs, first, second, and third cooks, bakers and helpers, salad and sandwich makers, general kitchen helpers. I think that means dishwashers. Front desk attendants, janitors, housekeepers, camp managers, attendants, and maintenance personnel. Contractors 11, 12, and 13 are security. They include Secure Guard, All Peace Protection, and Paladin Security. They are employing pipeline security professionals. That means that you need your basic security certificate, and other required training can be obtained from these 3 security companies, depending on their needs and scheduled training events. Next slide. As just discussed, there are a number of opportunities for qualified individuals. The prime contractors have various training opportunities as well in order to help you get qualified to work on the pipeline. There will be a number of hoops to jump through before you start your new job, but in the end, I think you will find it worth it. Openings in the training, construction readiness sessions, and others will be posted on BCMF's website as we are notified of them. The opportunities are often limited, so I recommend you check the BCMF website frequently. Next slide. Things to expect when applying for a job. Most, but not all jobs, will require you to have a Class 5 driver's license with a clean abstract. Now, this last one here is critical. You will be tested for drugs and alcohol, and you have to be sober prior to coming to work and at work. In my previous position as with one of the pipelines, we trained a young fellow for 3 of the 4 required months, paid him wages during that time for a permanent job after looking after the pipeline upon the pipeline's completion. He was tested upon coming back from his days off, and he tested for cannabis use. He was fired that day. This is non-negotiable. Next slide. You may be required to work long hours and for extended days at a time. You will most likely be required to work away from home. You may be required to accept pay above the normal rate in your chosen field. Pipeline work often provides a wage incentive to those they hire. That one might be negotiable if you think they're paying you too much money. So I'm sure you could ask them to pay you less if you chose. Next slide. What can BCMF help you with? And how can we help you? We are set up to gather Métis resumes and forward qualified applicants to the TMX prime contractors. We meet regularly with TMX and their prime contractors to ensure that we know about the hiring and training processes and opportunities. Next slide. We will review your resume and assist you with any revisions before sending them off to the prime contractors. We will let you know, actually that means I will let you know when and where your resume has been sent. And I ask that you please keep me informed in turn when you are contacted or hired. Next slide, thank you. Insert on your resume that you are Métis. Now, this one's a bit of a strange one for a lot of people, because if you came from my generation and my mother's generation, this isn't something a lot of people want to advertise. Things have changed, just like this webinar. If you have a provincial Métis card include that on your resume. And if you don't have one, there is contact information for our membership department at the end of these presentations. Just so you know, Keith Henry just advised us that BCMF has received extra funding for COVID that has to be spent by the end of March. And that funding will go to chartered communities with BCMF and BCMF members. So I highly urge you to get your BCMF membership if you don't have it. You can belong to other Métis organizations as well. Next slide. Why, you ask, is your resume, no, what have you got here? Your resume gets why, you ask, would we ask you to put Métis on your resume? Like I said, qualified resumes that have been submitted to the prime contractors by myself, employment@bcmétis.com, are being given priority like never before, along with other Indigenous resumes in the hiring process. So your resume actually goes to the top of the pile. Next slide. Ready to submit your resume? For those that have already submitted their resumes, I hope to hear soon that you've been offered a job on the project. For those of you that wish to submit your resume to me, you can send them to employment@bcmétis.com. It will be my pleasure to assist you in getting a job with the prime contractors on the Trans Mountain Expansion Project. This email contact, along with others, will be left open near the end of the next after the end of the next presentation. So don't panic, you'll see it again. The next presenter on procurement is Taylor McLeod. Masicho.
Thank you very much, Karen. Tansi Kia, my name is Taylor McLeod. I'm taking care of procurement for the BCMF. I'm calling today from outside of Kamloops, BC, which I acknowledge as the traditional lands of the Sweatmik people and the home of the Two Rivers Métis Association. I am a proud Métis woman. My kinship network spanned from Fort Nelson, BC, all the way to St. Boniface, Manitoba. I am a Gardner, Lafferty, Hodson, Bouvier, and a Noskia. I also have family from the Sturgeon Lake, Papa Chase, and Fort Nelson First Nations. So I truly am a child of the fur trade. I grew up working for the Mar West Group, a 100% Métis-owned corporation, which at the time was the sole private contractor working for Fortis BC, which was a large feat for an Indigenous contractor. I saw firsthand the difficulties Indigenous and especially Métis corporations faced in earlier years when dealing with industry. That gap has narrowed significantly, but there is still substantial work to be done. I truly believe that economic development is the path forward for our Métis people. We are historically an industrious and independent people, and that continues today. Next slide. Métis and TMX. So at the moment, TMX is my current focus for our partnered contractors, and there are still many opportunities left on this project. There are a couple of requirements to bid on TMX opportunities. You must have an ISN network number and an Indigenous community partnership. If you sign a letter of intent with the BCMF, you are automatically submitted to TMX's Indigenous Supply Chain Management team. And from there, you can gain access to the pre-qualification processes for the primes on each spread, if applicable. BCMF has a signed MBA, which is a mutual benefit agreement with TMX. So that agreement is to ensure that BCMF partner contractors are given priority in the supply chain management process. So I should add that having these two requirements does not guarantee you'll receive an RFP. However, you still have to go through the pre-qualification process for each separate GCC. But these are the two requirements that TMX seems to be putting forward as their top choices. If you do not have a rating on ISN yet, but you are interested in opportunities, please contact me and we can discuss getting your health and safety program set up. We have a contact at TC Energy and he has suggested that they can help with the costs of ISN setup for a couple Métis contractors if needed. So please contact me and we can see about that for your company. Next slide. the engagement process. After our initial contact, I'll need your corporation's complete list of services, all your safety certifications, and any other Indigenous community partnerships, and a signed letter of intent with the BCMF. So this LOI lasts for 3 years, and for providing my services and the community partnership, BCMF will receive a percentage of any successful contract your company is awarded, only if you have listed BCMF as your community partnership. Next slide. The BCMF is a nonprofit organization, so this agreed upon percentage from any successful contracts that are secured with BCMF listed as the Indigenous community partner helps to fund BCMF's own goals for the organization. So I will partner with both Indigenous and non-Indigenous owned contractors. I will not turn down an opportunity to get more Métis engagement on projects in BC. It's really important. Next slide. So TMX is not the only pipeline project we are currently in the engagement process on. TC Energy's Foothills Zone 8 expansion is also on the list. It's in the beginning stages of the regulatory process. So that includes the Indigenous community engagement process. Cool thing with this project is there will be designated services. So these are services that were only, or sorry, services, these are contracts that are only awarded to Indigenous owned contractors that are local to the project. So these would include clearing, medical, security, and camp services if relevant to the project. I'm not sure if they're having a camp for this one. And BCMF is included in the Indigenous community engagement process for this project. So all of our partnered contractors will be inputted in TC Energy's SMP portal, which will feed all information into their supply chain management process. So if you have a letter of intent with BCMF, you're automatically submitted into the system for bidding opportunities if qualified. Next slide. Last project on the horizon is North River Midstream's expansion. So North River is in the process of submitting their CER application for a major expansion of their existing assets. So approximately 200 kilometers of both natural gas liquid and condensate lines. These will run parallel to existing assets. 90% of the project will be completed within BC. So this is a big one for BC. BCMF is in the Indigenous community engagement process with this project as well. So because it's so new and we're just in the beginning stages, there's no other data regarding procurement or subcontracting opportunities as of yet, but that's coming. If you'd like more information, please let me know and I will ensure you are on any upcoming virtual information sessions that North River has planned for our BCMF partner communities that are local to the project. I'll make sure you're on it. Next slide. Final thoughts. So if you're interested in partnering with the BCMF for any opportunity that requires an Indigenous community partnership, we are open and happy to discuss it. I just request that if this results in an awarded contract, that there would be an opportunity for employment for Métis. And that if there are any subcontracting opportunities that our partner contractors be considered. So I encourage all Métis contractors watching, no matter what size, please contact me. There truly are opportunities out there for everybody. So although I can't guarantee awarded contracts, I can guarantee that I fast-tracked you through the queue into the supply chain management process. So I'm here to help you. Please utilize me. Finally, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them during the upcoming Q&A session. Masicho.
Marcy Taylor, thank you. Thanks for joining us today. I'd like to extend a special thank you to the prime contractors. You've taken time to be able to present and answer some questions, be present here. Please reach out if you've got any questions. We're here to help. A reminder to visit our website for information regarding membership, view the up-to-date listings of current opportunities. You can access all this information by visiting us at bcmétis.com in the About section, and then clicking on Employment and Contract Opportunities as shown here. I'll put up our contact information one more time for you. Again, thank you. We look forward to working with everyone, and I'm looking forward after this if you stay online, I'm going to try to talk Karen into dancing because she's a wonderful Métis jigger, and this is our time. I'm going to try to cue up the Red River jig for her and get her going here. So with that, thank you, everyone. It's just been an honor to have you online. I hope those of you that are looking for employment are able to work with Karen and the contractors we've got on board here. And anyone with a business, contact Taylor. And with that, I think that brings our event to a close. We're now open for questions. So just go on our chat line.
Thank you, Greg. That's perfect. We do have a question here from Madeline Prince. Are there training opportunities to become certified as an equipment operator? Karen, I'm going to field that one over to you. Could you please answer Madeline's question?
Madeline, that's a really good question, and I don't know the answer to it. So I know there are a number of prime contractors on the line. So if anybody that hires equipment operators, if you could answer in the Q&A or let us know who you are so we can unmute you, that would be awesome. Great question, Madeline.
What kind of tickets are you looking for, Madeline? Can Madeline speak? No? Oh, okay. Never mind. I might be able to help you out with that, Madeline.
You might be able to pop it in the chat too, if that works as well.
Okay.
Yes, Madeline, we can see your answers in the chat. Which tickets are you looking for, sorry?
I might hum during the dead air time here, and nobody wants to hear me humming. So
Busy things back end loader backhoe.
Madeline has said, it would specifically be things like back end loader or backhoe. I have a lot of experience operating cranes in my most previous long-term employment, but that was all on a private site, so it didn't come out with certification.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So when I asked about tickets, I thought you meant like pretty standard ones like WMS and your, enclosed space or whatnot. Yeah. I don't know if there's any programs that are funded right now for things like backhoe, but that's definitely something we can look into for you.
There's also a note here. We have a couple folks from Work BC on the call, and they're saying that there are different training opportunities through Work BC programs. So they would encourage interested individuals to follow up with their local Work BC office. So that's another avenue for you to pursue as well. Karen, I have another question for you. Which company is hiring camp administration? There were a few that you mentioned specifically. Could you please address Tammy's question when you have a moment?
So the three camp companies that were mentioned, there's three of them. And those three camp companies are Atco Frontex, Landsea, and Civio. And if you want more information about those, you can contact them directly, or you can get a hold of me at the address on the screen. I'd be happy to talk to you about that for sure. Good question.
Perfect. Thanks, Karen. We've got another one here from Brett. Are there any opportunities in Prince George to train as a bus driver?
No, that's a really, really good question. And because this pipeline is just a little ways away from Prince George, I would have to check with the people looking for bus drivers, what their training opportunities are for that. So send me an email and I'll certainly get back to you on that question once I talk to the prime contractors. Good question.
Perfect. And then we have a two-part question here. This says, is this job fair only for the TMX? And the second question is there employment opportunities in the northern region, Hudson Hope, Fort St. John, Chetwynd, as Site C and the Coastal Gas Link is in full swing in the north? Who would like to tackle those for us?
Greg would. Come on, Greg, unmute yourself.
I was just sitting back enjoying this. I'm getting a number of questions. I just received 3 resumes for you, Karen, on my email. So I'm really excited. Yes, of course, there are other opportunities, and we're in touch with with BC Hydro. We're working on the gas line at the same time. So the focus of this particular career fair was the TMX line, and they've been awesome to support us. I'm certain you can contact Karen or myself, and we would be more than happy if you've got a specific area that you'd like to work in. We can certainly try to connect you with the appropriate employers in that particular region. So,
And just to add to that, what Greg has said, if you check the BCMF website, we've had companies like school districts and Coast Guard and companies, since we started doing preparing for this virtual job fair, companies that are anxious for us to put what they're looking for on the BCMF website. So further down on one of the slides, you'll see how to actually get that information, because I know navigating some websites can be a bit of a pain, but it's fairly easy. So we have a ton of people that are now contacting us and say, we like what you're doing. Please put this information on the BCMF website, and we're certainly doing that. So any contractors that haven't sent me that yet, send them up to me, and I'll send it up to our IT company and have them added onto BCMF website for sure.
Cassandra, can I add to this? I guess what I would say, just from a broader perspective, yeah, today is about TMX for the most part, which is was pointed out, but I think it was part of Taylor's piece in the presentation. There's many employers in British Columbia and in a variety of sectors, but specifically when it comes to industry engagement, what we hope people watching today is we're trying to get a more systematic approach. So the role of someone like Karen and Taylor around employment coordination and procurement coordination will be applicable to other projects. And so this is the start of mapping out a more longer term structured approach for the BC Métis Federation. So in this case, today is around industry engagement, mostly the energy sector. So TC Energy, Taylor talked briefly, there's Foothills, which is in the Kootenay region, and there's engagement around that. And there'll be procurement and employment opportunities that we believe will spin out to Indigenous people, including Métis there. It was talked about a TC Energy up Ground Birch up in the Hudson Hope area, and Fort St. John, Dawson Creek, up into Fort Nelson. That's obviously, of course, there's BC Hydro that's continually looking for employment within their Site C construction that's already well underway. And then there's Northeast BC Connector that Taylor talked about, and that's a newer project, again, Northeast BC. So it's not all employers we're dealing with, but when it comes to our approach, it's going to be a more systematic. So I would say if you have a resume or you have a Métis business or want to partner with the BC Métis Federation, a non-Métis business looking to partner with us, I would strongly recommend, they may be called the TMX Employment Coordinator or TMX Procurement, but we are going to apply this systematic approach to all projects going forward.
Perfect. Thanks, Keith. We do have a few more questions here. I would encourage folks to continue to send them in. We've got a little bit of time left, so if you have additional ones, please shoot them over. We've got a question here about environmental monitoring. Do we know who is in charge of environmental monitoring? I know in Alberta, Trans Mountain, they had their own Indigenous monitors for the SA Energy.
So I'll answer that one. I haven't had any of the prime contractors let me know that that's what they're looking for specifically, but the Trans Mountain expansion project itself very well may be. And so shoot me off that question. I can push it up the line to Trans Mountain expansion project and get an answer back to you. That's a really good question.
It looks like we've got a response here from Madeline. It says, KLTP, if hiring a equipment operator, you're not required to have a certified ticket. If you show the types and sizes of equipment you operated, what particular work you did on those machines on your resume, they have heavy equipment designators who can call you and pre-screen your experiences. So hopefully that helps, Madeline. Again, if you have further questions, you can reach out to any of the folks that are up on the screen here. And then we've got a couple other things here. For the truck driver job, is it just a class 5 you need? Karen, I'm going to punt that one over to you as well.
So most of the contractors have advised me that they will require most employees. I wouldn't imagine a chef or any of the cooks or any of the camp personnel to have a class 5, just a standard class 5. Some are asking for a class 5 with air brakes, but unless you're operating a big rig that where you need your class 1 and air brakes, yes, most of the truck driver positions and bus driver positions, I've been told, are just a class 5. If you want specifics, send me that question and I'll shoot it up to the prime contractors to get clarification if that's what you need.
And Tammy, I see your question about putting the map back up. I'm going to scooch over and do that for you now. We also have Derek Orr on the line from SA Energy. He's got his hand up and I think he'd like to speak. So I'm going to go ahead and give Derek the floor. Derek?
Oh, I was just gonna, hi everyone, my name is Derek Orr. I'm coming to you from Prince George, BC, on the traditional territory of the Lheidli T'enneh. I'm the SA Energy Group's Indigenous and Community Relations Manager. I've been on the project since April 2019 and worked with Karen, Taylor, as well as Greg to find employment and answer some questions going forward. So just wanted to introduce myself and just for was a question from Madeline, are there training opportunities to become certified as equipment operator? There is, however, usually the process, we're a union contractor that Indigenous community members and Métis get priority hiring and can get direct hiring. And they usually start as an oiler, which is an apprentice operator, and work for a number of years and then get onto an equipment. So it's a bit of a process, but once you get in, there's a significant opportunity. So I just wanted to answer that.
That's great. Thank you so much, Derek. I'm not showing any other questions from the group. So unless anything comes through quickly here, then we will allow everybody to sign off. Madeline's got a final comment here. I was always led to believe I need to get a certification to operate equipment, and it certainly seems like a waste to throw away between 1,000 and 2,000 hours of operating a heavier piece of machinery when I can still potentially use that experience in similar roles with similar equipment. These answers have helped immensely. Thank you so much. Madeline, that's really great to hear. I'm glad you got some answers to your question and can continue on with your career growth. Tammy, I see your question. How soon do you think we can get working again with the safety shutdowns that happened a while ago? The work is picking back up again and we are ramping back up and people should be getting in touch with you soon. I do believe there are a great number of opportunities opening up and there will be quite a momentum shift to push this project through and get things going. So please
Just
reach
make
out
sure
to
you,
Karen.
yeah, please. And once I get your resumes, I'll send them off to the prime contractors right away. And I'll let you know who I've sent them to and when, and you'll be hearing from them directly, which is why I ask you to let me know when that occurs. So given that things were, like Cassandra said, they were on a bit of a safety slowdown. Things are rapidly picking up after that. So depending on who you apply, what you're looking for, I'm sure things are definitely going to happen pretty quick here.
Mhm. Just a reminder also that if you are open to traveling along the route, that would expand your options as well and increase your options of being hired. So if you do have that flexibility to move down the line and kind of shift around a bit, that'll help you as well. Martin, I see your question here. Is there any clerical/administration jobs in the Lower Mainland? Karen, back to you.
So the clerical positions aren't as numerous on the pipeline. However, having said that, the actual company doing spread 7 might be looking for some. So shoot me that question and I'll forward it up. I know the camps are definitely looking for people, but again, those jobs are, once they're filled, there's only a few of them needed. So yeah, but you never know. My philosophy is always look on the positive, and you just never know what surprises are in store.
Wonderful. Thanks, Karen. All right, everybody. I don't see any more questions in the queue or anything else coming through the chat. So if that's all there is, thank you all so much for your time and for joining us. Especially our industry partners. Thank you for joining and pitching in and helping to answer some questions. That's really great. Tara, I see that you've raised your hand. Are you able to use the chat function and type in your question for us down there? Keith, did you have something you wanted to?
Well, I just want to just say thanks as well before we totally sign off. On behalf of our board and our team, I want to thank yourself and Greg and others for the work to try and adapt to the new reality of living online and through these kind of forums. I mean, this is not the first time we've done this. We've had, over the last 2 years, we've had an industry forum that, it's nice to hear Derek's voice. He's been at a number of our functions prior. But what I would just say to everyone, a lot of work's going on to always strategically figure out how we can find all of you employment or procurement opportunities. But you have to execute. And what we would need from you, as it's been said many times, is we can't advocate and work if we don't know your resume. And I know there's obstacles about certification and that. And we've made a decision. We're going to work directly with the employers, and hopefully a lot of the employers will provide that training are put out here. And so I think that I would just encourage people to, work with our team, work with Karen. Greg facilitates the relationship piece with these partners. We're dealing with them on a regular weekly basis. And it's not perfect. It's a strategy, right? And you could either go yourself to those employers, or you can use our systems we've created. And I think it's much more effective to work through our process, and that's to get your resume to the top of the pile is ultimately what we would like to do with all Indigenous applicants. So, I just hope people really see the work that's gone into this. And I just want to acknowledge the team of Taylor, Greg, and Karen for the work they're doing to get more effective at our ability to find employment. So that's all. I just want to say thanks everyone for being here. I really enjoyed the questions.
Thank you, Keith. Tara, I see your hand up. We've enabled your microphone. If you'd like to, you can go ahead and let us know if you had a question or.
Awesome. Thanks, Cassandra. No, I just, so my name is Tara Whitney. I'm with the Ledcor Seachem Limited Partnership. I'm the Employment and Training Coordinator. I just wanted to start off by quickly saying thank you, to you good folks for coordinating this and, extending an invitation for us to participate. I just wanted to just quickly mention, I know some of the questions that are going around, they're really great questions. We've been working, or well, I guess I should say Karen and I have been working closely together over the last, into the last couple of months of last year, and then looking forward to reconnecting again to pick up conversations that we've been having. One of the things that Karen and I have, kind of tossed around is one of the things that LSLP has done in other areas along our spreads is we've hosted what we call employment information sessions. And what those sessions do is they allow us an opportunity to meet with individuals at kind of more of a one-on-one basis so that we can answer, questions specific to the operations that we've got going on in our area. And, actually what triggered this is, Derek from SA Energy. We've done these events in the past in collaboration with SA Energy. So I just wanted to, bring that up, in this forum, just to share with the broader audience that that's something that LSLP is definitely open to doing if there's, interest in, having kind of more of an intimate conversation. I also just wanted to extend, through Karen Andrews, if you've got any questions and you wanted to reach out to me on kind of more of an individual level as it relates to the spreads that we're working within, I'm more than happy to take a phone call or connect with you one-on-one. So Karen's got my contact information. I just wanted to extend that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. And Derek, I see your hand up as well. You can go ahead too.
Sorry, I just had it. I had it by accident, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No problem. All right, everybody, it looks like that's it. So we are going to wrap up here. Thank you so much for your questions and your time. Just a reminder, we've got everybody's contact information up there. So if you are not currently a BCMF member, you can contact Sherry. She's down in the bottom right-hand corner for membership questions. And again, we've got Greg, Taylor, and Karen's contact info and email addresses. So please do reach out if you have any other questions or if you'd like to forward your resume. I hope this leads to great things for everybody. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Waiting for Karen to dance.
Wonderful. That's great. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
I know.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.